Good afternoon, sir. May I come in?
Come.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
Shivin, so welcome to the mock interview, and also kindly introduce yourself to the board.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Dr. Shivin Chaudhary. I did my bachelor's in medicine and bachelor's in surgery from Maulana Azad Medical College, New Delhi. I graduated in 2021. Post that, I have been preparing for the civil services while also working in the field of medical tourism.
Medical tourism?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shivin, is it a Hindi word or Sanskrit word?
So the name is derived from the word Shiva, and the epigraphy of the name comes from the fact that my father was very fond of tennis, and there was a tennis player called Shivin Chaudhary who used to play at his time, so he named me after him.
Okay. So you mean it's basically is a Sanskrit word?
Yes, sir.
Not a Hindi word?
No, sir.
There is something called words which are imported from other language and words which have improved over the time. Tatsam tadbhav in Hindi. Any idea about that?
No, sir. Sorry, I'm not able to recall at this moment.
So, medical tourism, international relation. Just tell us, you have an industry, a pharmaceutical industry.
Yes, sir.
Now you want to export your items to America.
Yes, sir.
What will be the procedure?
Sir, firstly, for pharmaceutical products, we will have to get an approval from the Food and Drug Administration in the United States for them to first approve our drugs to be used there. Then we will have to liaison with their government. And once we liaison with the Ministry of Commerce and the requisite or counterpart on the American side, then we can start the export after we set terms with respect to import duties.
So they come and inspect your factory here. Now suppose America also wants the medicine.
Yes, sir.
Or now they have approved the medicine and they have found you to be as one of the producer and they approved as export. Reverse the situation. You want a medicine from America. Now can your drug inspector go and inspect the factory in America?
Sir, the Food and Drug Administration of the United States, if it grants approval to a medicine factory in the United States, by Indian law currently it is accepted in India without any inspections. So as per our own law system.
And do you know that because of this reason many of the medicines which are banned all around the world, they still are being imported in India?
So certainly there is a certain lack of regulation.
You have been a chief best speaker in the model at Symbiosis Model United Nations on South China Sea issue. What is that issue?
So China is claiming undisputed sovereignty in the South China Sea around its 9-dash line, which is beyond its exclusive economic zone of 200 miles as written in the United Nations Convention on Laws of the Sea. So on this issue, the Philippines had started an arbitration in the Arbitral Tribunal in 2014 and the award was given in 2016. The Chinese government refused to participate in this Arbitral Tribunal, and this since then has become an international issue with regards to the conduct of parties in the South China Sea as well as increasing militarization of islands such as the Spratly Island, Paracel Island and Scarborough Shoal.
What is the India's stand on that?
So India in the Shangri-La dialogue through our Prime Minister has elucidated that we wish for a freedom of navigation in the sea, we wish for a rules-based order, and for all parties to work as per the United Nations Convention on Laws of the Sea. And India does not agree to the Chinese claim of the 9-dash line.
What is the Quad reaction on the South China Sea issue?
So the Quad is a multilateral grouping containing India, Japan, Australia, and the United States. The Quad countries are wishing to stop China's unilateral revisionism as well as belligerence in the South China Sea. They wish that all parties should get access to fair resources in that region and not just the Chinese.
EEZ, SEZ, what is the difference between the two?
So EEZ is the exclusive economic zone as per the UN clause. It says that 200 miles from the baseline, the country has exclusive access to economic resources in the sea. The SEZ is a special economic zone. It is considered a zone for tax holiday and a foreign land for taxes for promoting business interests in our own country.
There's some two basic committees in a parliament. You have been, of course, the first position in IIT Delhi Youth Parliament.
Yes.
What are those two prominent committees?
Sir, are you referring to parliamentary committees? So there are ad hoc committees and standing committees in the parliament. So ad hoc committees are constituted for a particular bill or issue. Standing committees can be departmental related or other standing committees.
I said two prominent committees which are across the board. One is
the Public Accounts Committee,
the Standing Committee and Consultative Committee. Every ministry.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's come to the consultative committees. How frequently they have to meet?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware of this.
And suppose you are the chief adjudicator in the United Nations. How will you solve this Ukraine-Russia problem?
Sir, with your permission, I would just like 30 seconds to articulate my answer. Sir, as per the United Nations Charter, Articles 1 through 8, the United Nations is meant to promote global peace and harmony along with social development. By not interfering in domestic affairs, we have to also ensure that peace is maintained over the globe. So as the chief adjudicator in this issue, I would request the both parties to come to the table and solve this issue through negotiation rather than belligerence and continuing warfare. I would also point out to them, sir, it is not an internal affair, so we cannot directly. So what I meant was, because the UN Charter precludes the UN from interfering in domestic affairs, we cannot directly post peacekeeping missions or any other particular mission there till we have negotiated with both parties. So first I would request...
Don't you see that the entire Western world in America, they are seeing business in this? Selling weapons, sending weapons and killing the humanity, the open massacre of the people of Ukraine. And such a helpless body called UNO, not able to do anything and force anything.
So you are right that in this case, the United Nations has been helpless, especially because of the veto power enjoyed by the Russian Federation in the United Nations Security Council. However, sir, I feel that with the weapons business, there is always an ethical conflict. On one side, once we are selling weapons, it becomes an issue of humanity and warfare. And on the other side, it becomes an issue of sovereignty and self-defense. I believe the West, by selling weapons to the Ukrainian government, has not done anything wrong in the fact that they have prevented warfare from going further. Russian invasion and finally taking away of Ukrainian sovereignty would also lead to a lot of casualties.
You mean that the weapons which are being given by the European countries and the American is logical, ethically correct, morally sound?
So far as it extends to the self-defense of Ukraine,
they are firing from the shoulders of the Ukrainian people. It's this country which is being annihilated. Had they not given this thing, at least less loss of the humanity would have been there.
Certainly, sir, it would have been less loss of humanity, but Ukraine's territorial sovereignty and integrity as a nation would have been vanquished and would have been taken over by the Russians.
You mean the Russia basic theory that the NATO should not come on near to their border is wrong?
Sir, I don't think that theory is wrong. However, I believe that once belligerence has started and once warfare has started, Ukraine has the right to defend itself.
Last question, Shivin, medical tourism. How do you feel that in the medical tourism, suppose the Chinese people who are suffering from corona, they should be allowed to come?
Sir, so far our government has been promoting medical tourism for non-infectious diseases, since they are only cold surgeries and lifestyle diseases, especially with wellness ideas that are being promoted. When it comes to patients with infectious diseases traveling to India, it becomes an issue anyway because their travel will be very difficult. So I believe at the moment this will not be the right step till we can establish a clean transport mechanism.
Okay, sir.
Shivin, what are the latest findings in 𝗔𝗁𝗃𝗃𝗃 case?
Sir, in the 𝗔𝗁𝗃𝗃𝗃 case, with respect to the Indus Valley civilization, there has been found a skeleton which says that the R1A1 gene, which has also been somewhat wrongfully called the RN gene, has been found. There is also a finding that this might be one of the biggest sites of the Indus Valley civilization.
Anything more?
Sir, Pithu as a sport has been found to be played from an ancient time.
Artifacts.
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall the artifacts at the moment.
You have preferred Haryana cadre. What is the reason for that? You know, the Haryana cadre is not considered so good a cadre for IAS. There's too much political interference. You have heard about Ashok Hemka?
Yes, sir.
35 transfers in 50 years.
Yes.
Kashni Nand, similar case.
Yes, sir.
Even then, you have preferred this Haryana cadre.
Sir, firstly, I have preferred Haryana as it is my home cadre. And secondly, sir, I believe there are certain challenges in Haryana's administration, but that does not preclude me from preferring it as a cadre. Every challenge, I believe, is also an opportunity. And with working in this cadre, I hope I can improve some of the problems and help better administration in Haryana.
See, you got opportunity only when you are put on a station for a considerable time. Where your chapters frequently, where is your policy?
Sorry, sir, could you please repeat the last part of the question?
Frequent transfers. You see, you cannot continue with your policies. So, is there a specific reason?
Sir, I believe that political interference does become a reason for frequent transfers, as well as the non-formulation and non-activation of the Civil Services Board as recommended by the Supreme Court in the 𝗔𝗁𝗁𝗵𝗃𝗃 case might be the reason for this.
India is holding presidency of G20. Is it a challenge or an opportunity?
Personally, sir, I believe it is a great opportunity for India because it gives India the opportunity to voice its concern at the global level. We can become the champion of the global south. We can use the G20 to flag issues that we wish to discuss, as well as solve the emerging crises in our neighborhood. It does also represent a challenge in terms of tourism, in terms of logistics, and issues of so many foreign delegates coming to India, as well as India's role as a responsible actor in walking the tightrope, for example, between the Western and the Eastern blocs.
Why you wanted to be a doctor first?
So my decision to become a doctor was decided when I was 16 years old. I was good in biology and I chose to give the medical entrance exam. Also, I was influenced by my parents. Hence, I decided to enter the medical college.
Today, medicine science is taught in English only. There are some efforts that hegemony of English should be done away from the teaching of medicine line. What is your opinion about that?
Sir, I believe this is a very good initiative because regional languages are very important, as well as medical colleges now are trying to have bridge courses as well as translation of English literature into regional languages. Sir, I believe that when doctors go to the field, they have to interact in regional languages with the patient. So if they are taught in regional languages, I believe they will be able to communicate better.
What are the medical systems prevalent in India?
Sir, in India at the moment, there is the allopathy system, the Ayurveda system, yoga, Unani, Siddha, as well as homeopathy.
Which one is the best one?
Sir, at the moment, I cannot say that any one system is the best one. I believe an integration of all these systems is required. Allopathy is very important when it comes to life-saving and tertiary and secondary medical care. However, Ayush takes precedence when it comes to preventive healthcare and primordial healthcare.
If any time you fall ill, which system will you prefer for your treatment?
Sir, I believe it would depend on the stage of disease. If I'm in the primordial symptoms or in the primary symptoms of the disease where particular health issues have not developed, I can go for an Ayurvedic medicine as well, or a homeopathic medicine, because they help in prevention. However, if I require a rather serious intervention with regards to a surgery or maybe a longer duration of life-saving intervention, I would go for allopathy.
What is your take on commercialization of medical system?
So commercialization of medical system in India is a problem. Currently, the private sector holds about 80% of the doctors and 65% of the beds, and this precludes certain sections of our society from gaining access to affordable healthcare. However, sir, I believe the Ayushman Bharat initiative is a great initiative in this regard. Moreover, the private sector brings technology, innovation in this sector and helps promote our global image as a doctor of the world as well.
Sir.
Shivin, I'll start with a very simple word. You said your father kept your name based on some player's name.
Yes, sir.
Any other example, somebody has, a great player has kept his son's name on another player? Just any example,
Sir, I'd just like 10 seconds to think about this. Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall.
Sunil Gavaskar kept his son's name on the Rohan Kanai's West Indian player. He kept his son's name as Rohan Gavaskar. Rohan Kanai is a West Indian player.
Yes, sir.
Great. Anyway, you play chess.
Yes, sir.
I find the playing chess is a waste of time. What do you say on that?
Respectfully, sir, I would like to disagree with you. I believe chess is a game that helps inculcate many qualities in an individual. It helps foresight, it helps analysis, it helps us with understanding and balancing interests, and it is something that develops the mind. So I believe chess is a good game in that aspect.
Okay. We are producing lot many doctors, engineers, MBAs, and whatnot. Many of them, they go and settle abroad.
Yes, sir.
What use they are of to us? We spend money on them, and they settle abroad.
Yes, sir.
The waste of our money, brain drain kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
So you could have also followed there, I don't know, because you are trying to get foreign service, your first choice. You agree with that this should continue, or we should do something about it?
Sir, I think a slightly nuanced answer is required here. Firstly, I believe that when they go abroad, they act as diaspora for India and goodwill ambassadors for India, as well as they promote the image of India abroad, which is very important. However, in certain cases, such as doctors, I believe when they go abroad and there is a shortage of doctors in India, it becomes a problem, especially if their education has been publicly funded. So in this respect, we can probably balance this through a bond policy.
Bond policy. Okay. You have been a speaker, the best speaker. Tell me, what are the qualities of a speaker? I want to become a good speaker, right? What qualities I should have or should develop? What are the qualities of a good speaker?
So firstly, I believe a good speaker must be a good listener because he needs to understand the other side. Secondly, he needs to be well researched so that he has confidence on the arguments that he's making. Thirdly, I believe he needs to have confidence so that he can speak with eye contact, with keeping his head held high, even if the crowd becomes slightly belligerent or vocal. Fourthly, sir, I believe he must possess the ability of proper articulation and voice modulation because the crowd might get bored after a certain point. So voice modulation helps keep the interest of the crowd.
Okay. You have been working in a hospital and working on international business. What is the correlation of a hospital and international business?
So my job is in the field of medical tourism, where patients from abroad come to our hospital to get treatments, and I work with those patients.
You work as a tourist agent or as a doctor?
So my role is threefold. Firstly, when the patients come here, they are coming through certain hospitals in their source countries, or certain doctors, or certain medical value travel facilitators. I have to answer queries with respect to their medicine issues. For instance, whether we can treat this patient or not, what will be the success rate, etc. When these patients come here, to ensure that their stay here is facilitated and comfortable, I take a round every morning and I meet all the international patients. Thirdly, I am also responsible for their FRRO registrations.
When you facilitate them as a doctor, you bridge between them and the hospital, like kind of thing. And it's known as international business. Okay. See, every country is a sovereign country.
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, what is the problem if Ukraine becomes? What was the problem between Ukraine and Russia? Why the whole thing started?
So the whole thing actually started in 2014 when Boris Yeltsin was the Ukrainian PM, and he was ousted after a public protest, and this was believed to be funded by the United States. Then the Ukrainian government has steadily become closer to the European Union as well as to NATO, and Russia objects to this because this will lead to NATO forces being positioned on their western border.
Okay. So Russia wants they should not become member of NATO or something.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are interested in international affairs because you are doing your job is international business. Your first choice is in IFS and all, very good. So why is subject anthropology and not this political science and international relations? It has international relations attached to it. Why anthropology? Why no medical subject? There must be some medical subject related. Yeah. Geology, botany or something. Why special interest in anthropology?
So medical science is itself an optional in the civil services. However, I have chosen anthropology purely on the basis of pragmatism. I have chosen a subject that has relations with GS and is related to my core area of biology, so that I would be able to revise it faster with my exam and maximize my score in the mains exam.
Okay, last question. Your first choice is IFS, second is IAS. Tell me what use of MBBS you will put as an ambassador,
yes, sir,
or as a commissioner or deputy commissioner in a district. First, as an ambassador, we post you at third secretary as IFS. What use is this MBBS? We spend a lot of money on you. And Maulana Ajad must have spent much more than anybody else.
yes.
What use is this?
So with your permission, I'd just like 20 seconds to formulate my answer.
How many seconds?
20 seconds.
20. Okay.
So as an ambassador or of Indian Foreign Service officer, I could firstly work in the field of medical tourism and promote the Heal in India brand, which has been launched recently for targeted medical tourism to India. Secondly, I could work with health cooperation, telemedicine, and in the area of our soft power. Thirdly, I could work in international health diplomacy when it comes to organizations such as the World Health Organization. Fourthly, in the upcoming G20 summit, we have also added health systems financing and health systems strengthening to formulate a global health policy for the upcoming decade. In that area, also, I could give my inputs as a doctor. As a deputy commissioner in a district, I could work in augmenting the healthcare system of that district, work with PHC doctors there, as well as work with the local district hospital. Later, when I am promoted, I could work with the state for its health policy.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Shivin. It is said, somebody said, men are better chess players than women. Do you agree?
No, sir. Respectfully, I would like to disagree with that.
Why?
So chess, I believe, is a game of mental aptitude. It has nothing to do with your physical strength. So in this case, I would not agree that men are better than women. I believe both have equal potential in the development of chess.
Then why even in 2022-23 in the world ranking, we don't find even a single women player in first 50?
So you are right that women players and women grandmasters are slightly on the shorter side. To be accurate, about 22% of the total grandmasters. However, sir, I believe this has to do with the social systems that we live in, that the promotion of the game and the promotion of gameplay is not done at the equal level to women as it is done to men. And that is why this disparity exists and not something inherently wrong with women. Also, sir, I would like to point out here on a lighter note that chess is a feminist sport, with the queen becoming the most powerful piece on the board.
That's okay. That's just a de jure situation, because ultimately queen will not do anything if the, what is it called in English? I don't know. The second person?
The king, sir.
King only it is called. We call wazir in Hindi.
Yes, sir. In English it's called the king.
So the king only taking all the shots. Anyway, queen is just sitting and moving only one step maximum. So it is not a feminist. It's a typical pseudo-feminism, I would say. Not pseudo-feminism, but eyewash kind of thing. That, no, it is a feminist because you are at the top, but you cannot do anything. Everything king will do, the bishop will do, and then rook will do.
I just like to point out here that the queen has the power of the bishop and the rook combined. It is the most powerful piece on the board.
How bishop and the rook combined? Can queen travel 8 places when?
At any time, sir. At the starting of the game. The queen is the most powerful piece. It can travel diagonally as well as horizontally.
Okay, no. So I got your point. So that's what I'm saying. So the point is, I got it confused. The king is the one
that can move only one step at a time.
For whom the queen is running all over the place. Anyway, that's okay. Why I said this men are better player than women is because many champions have said this, including 𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗏. Gary Kasparov himself has said that, they are hardwired, better hardwired to play chess. That's why we have better men chess player than women. Would like to change your stand?
No, sir.
Why? So you think you understand chess and women and men issue better than Gary Kasparov and 𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗏 themselves, one of which is female?
Sir, I believe I understand I have better knowledge of genetics and how the human brain works and how socialization impacts mental development. And therefore, with that evidence as a medical doctor, I can say with certainty that there is no study as of now that can say that men have better strategic thinking than women, making them better players. If proper socialization is provided, women can be just as good players as men.
When do you think we'll see the situation where, in first 50, we have around 20-25 women? How much time it will take according to that socialization aspect, in the baggage and historical discrimination, whatever you are connoting to?
Sir, it is difficult for me to assign a direct timeline to this, but I believe in the next 10-20 years, there will be a situation where we will see a woman player in the top 10, as well as in the future years, the situation will keep getting better.
Okay. And what about other games like tennis, badminton, football? Do you think Serena Williams can beat Federer?
With due respect to Serena Williams, sir, I don't think she can beat Roger Federer at this moment.
Okay. Any, female player in any other sport can beat the men counterpart? In cricket, can Australian women cricket team beat Zimbabwean men team?
Sir, it's difficult for me to extrapolate.
Why I'm asking this? Because you mentioned that physical ability is not a problem in chess, so men and women are equal. That means, can I assume that other aspects like football?
Yes, sir.
Can there be any scenario where there will be somebody, or for example, Argentina's or Germany's or France women team that can beat, Morocco's male team?
Sir, if we have to make a comparison, we should make a comparison with the same team. French women team with the French men team.
That's not even possible. No country it is going to be seen. Why I'm mentioning this is I'm saying at least lower ranked country men team. Can that even be any chance that can be beaten by the higher ranked women team?
So then it essentially becomes a match between training and biology, and it would be very interesting to see what happens.
So what do you think? Then
certainly, sir, there is a possibility of that happening.
Okay. So you don't think physical capacity make any difference there? Testosterone doesn't make any difference there? You're a doctor, that's
it certainly makes a difference, sir. Testosterone is a hormone that is an anabolic steroid, so it helps in muscle growth and bone strength. However, with training, with nutrition, also these things can be overcome. And as you mentioned, if it's a lower ranked men's team versus a very highly ranked women's team, the competition could be very tough for both these teams, and any could emerge as a winner, especially in a game like football, where after scoring one goal, there is an opportunity to park the bus.
Okay. See, recently there was a news in India, 2 out of 3, that is how many percent? 67% of the doctors prefer to pay fine than to go for rural attachment. Why? Is it a good thing for India?
Firstly, sir, I think this is not good for India in the long term. Secondly,
Or
sir,
even in the short term.
yes, sir.
Why long term? Even like somebody will die tomorrow because the person is not reaching there. You know, in that situation, what will happen? 2-3 villages, maybe 10-15 villages will be combined under one doctor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good.
Sir, I believe in this scenario, we have to realize that healing has many elements to it, and the doctor is just one element in this healing process. So if we have proper infrastructure facilities, proper medical facilities and pharmaceutical support, as well as proper support staff, I don't see any reason for doctors not wishing to go to the rural areas.
So why are they not going? Because they don't have facilities there.
Sir, I believe currently the incentivization structure as well as the facilities are lacking.
Incentivization to whom?
To the doctors, sir, to go to...
No, that is, see, that the basic purpose of that particular attachment is not for incentivization. There are 2 prongs. One is the contribution that you have to do to better the health system of the rural areas. Second is to have an exposure of real Indian issues, broader issues. And that very thing the doctors don't want to do. And that to 67% doctors, just imagine. There must be something why it's not 1 or 2 cases that we could have just seen. There must be some systemic issue.
Should I ask him whether he is going to the village?
Okay, you may like to answer.
Yes, sir. I have done my rural posting in Pooth as part of my internship in Maulana Azhar Medical College.
How many months, days?
So 3 months.
It's 3 months only?
Sir, it's 1 month with 2 months optional, and I did the entire 3 months.
Very good.
Very good. Okay, so you were saying something about the thing that we were talking about. What is the systemic reason behind this, do you think? Apart from, see, infrastructure, unless doctors go there, infrastructure won't be developed. That's how things work. We know that, how it works in India. So why are not, and they are ready to, in fact now, government is trying to reformulate that they will get away with this, pay fine, and going there will be made compulsory. What do you agree to this particular proposition that they're thinking upon this now? It's compulsory. It's a part and parcel of your curriculum. If you don't do it, you will not get any MBBS degree. Forget about fine.
Sir, in the short term, I think this is a very good step, as it is compulsory right now in the Delhi colleges, and it was compulsory for me as well. And I believe
so
that...
you did because it was compulsory.
Sir, I did my 2 other optional months as well, which was not compulsory. Only the first month was compulsory.
Good.
Sir, I believe it is a good step because we do need doctors in the rural areas, and currently through compulsion we can send them, and in the long term as doctors go there and they realize that is a very essential part of the training. Till they don't meet the rural patients and see the rural issues, it's very difficult to work in the city as well. So once we do that and they realize that it is a part of the training, in the long term it will become something that happens organically.
Okay. Last question, and I want you to kind of formulate your answer in a statement. No explanation, nothing.
Yes, sir.
Is medicine a lucrative profession or a noble profession?
Sir, with your permission, I'd like some time to think.
Yeah, sure.
How much time you are taking this time?
Sir, just like 5 seconds more.
5 seconds.
So medicine is a noble profession, lucrative in its ability to help others.
Thank you.
Shivin, just last question. There is something called MDG. What is that?
So MDGs, if you are referring to the Millennium Development Goals, yes, so they were formulated by the United Nations for global development from 2000 to 2015, and they have expired now, and now the Sustainable Development Goals have taken their place from 2015 to 2030.
How many types of beards are there? Is it a Chinese beard or a French beard which you are?
So this particular beard is called a goatee. A French beard would be if the hair from my mustache would run to my beard.
Are beards allowed in army? Other than, of course, those who are sick?
Sir, as far as I am aware, they are not allowed, but I will have to read up on this.
So bureaucrats, you want to be in the total civil order, or can, of course, have their own choice and preferences?
Sir, I believe bureaucrats should be formally dressed, and the day I am selected, I will shave off my beard.
Thank you. We'll call you in 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Some people think that there are some racial connotations in the color plan of chess. What is your opinion?
Sir, as you have rightly pointed out, the white pieces are moved first and then the black pieces move. And this does point to a racial standpoint. However, I would say 2 things here to counter this. Firstly, GM Magnus Carlsen and GM Vidit Gujrati recently played a game where the black pieces were moved first to counter this connotation. Secondly, sir, chess has originated in India and there has been no racial discrimination in India. So it is wrong to say that chess with white and black pieces comes from a racial standpoint.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll call you in 2 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time, sir.